I would be among the first to admit that we made mistakes in government. I will be among the first to admit that there was corruption within previous Antigua Labour Party administrations. But I have to admit that the corruption that exists today under the UPP regime makes corruption under the previous ALP administration child's play, my dear people.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
There will be no job losses under the Labour Party administration.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance,
I now turn to the water shortage that has plagued this country for some time. And I say to you tonight that leadership matters. I say to you tonight that the water shortage that our people have been experiencing is an issue that belongs to a different age. And I say too that we have made positive steps in order to resolve the water problem. And I guarantee you that within 14 days, there will be increased water supply in this country.
Let's face the music and dance.
The cornerstone of our general election campaign was the provision of affordable housing. Indeed, we promised 500 homes in 500 days. And we said to you that you would have gotten 500 homes in 500 days. Those with little or no vision said that it could not be done. Well, as your Prime Minister, I say to you that it can be done and that it shall be done.
Let's face the music and dance. Let's face the music and dance.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
This is True Labor Talks with your host, the executive of the Antigua Barbuda True Labor Party.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's so nice to be with you again. Another week of True Labor Talks. I mean, they go by so fast. The week has just been turning around. It's coming to the end of the year, I suppose. They say that the days are shorter, leading into winter, I suppose. I mean, we're down in the tropics, but it must be the explanation, because I just find these weeks turning over so quickly, you know, especially on my return home after nearly 4 months abroad. We're in the studio now. There are several things we want to bring to your attention and your concern, and our policies as a part of the political organization, and just the policies we believe that the government has taken, or a stand that they have taken that we do not agree with. And that is what you call an opposition. We are opposed to several of their policies that are affecting the lives of the people, or will affect the lives of the people in Antigua and Barbuda. And this is our main avenue or medium to get out our response to and our solutions to the problems that we face here in Antigua and Barbuda. So yes, as usual, I'm in studio with my co-host, Lionel Nedwell. I'll let him say hello to you.
Yes, good afternoon to all listeners. Welcome to another episode of our podcast. I'm so happy to be here with you again today. As my co-host told you, there's a lot of issues that will be affecting your lives that we need to discuss with you, that we don't agree with the government policy about how they're dealing with the people affairs. So you stick with us, and we'll be in another hour or so. we will be giving you the true scope of what's going on.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So, this week we just wanted to let you know that we've been out in the constituency. We are going about meeting the people again. I mean, after the election, the 21st of March, we didn't stop campaigning just after the election. I believe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks later, we started going around and meeting our supporters and the people in the constituency and letting them know that what we promised, win, lose or draw, you will see the true Labour Party, you will see me, the candidate, Weber III, in the constituency, and keeping my promise that I will play an active part and assist people where I can, even in opposition. So, as I said, I went away for 4 months, and I'm now back, and we started going around again. We had a very good day last Thursday, just seeing some of our supporters and people in the constituency. Some of the Labour Party supporters just watched us. They can't believe we're still here. Just like, Jesus, dead man walking.
That's right, walking dead.
It's very, very good to see the supporters and some of the young guys and them were just like, yeah, man, that's what we want to see, you know. I mean, they call it early election, you know, some of the stuff that we had planned and we wanted to do, and even the ground floor, the community center, we had hoped that would have been up when the general election would have been called next year. But be that as it may, that's already history.
Yeah.
So we look forward to whenever the next one is called. Somebody I spoke to yesterday or the day before was telling me that it's not going to go to another 5 years or whatever. It's going to be called earlier than that. Now, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak what's in the Prime Minister's mind. But what I would say is that whenever you call it, the True Labour Party, especially in St. John's Road South, we will be ready. Nedwell?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah,
It was a nice day out there. We went out there, we met some of our supporters. They were so happy to see us. We were quite happy to see them. And, the discussion and interaction was so nice. It reminds me of the days prior to the election, where, we went out there and we did our thing. And it was quite nice. It was a healthy meeting, a healthy going out. I loved it. And I look forward to be doing this, time and time again, because we need to stay in tune with our supporters, as well
and the others too.
As well as pulling in some of the others.
We are completely different.
That's right. And what we had promised is still on the table, and that's what we are going to do, regardless, as you said, win, lose or draw. That is what it's going to be. We are not going to be like the other political parties that make promises that they don't fulfill. And this last thing, this incumbent government, there are quite a lot of promises that they made that they didn't really live up to. And it's amazing way too, because it seems as if when you make promises and you don't fulfill them, that you win more seats.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering what's going on here in Antigua, because there were so many promises made in 2014.
Yes, leading up to the election, they told the people they're going to make their lives so much better.
That. Even the water situation there, and right now the water situation is so horrible.
Yeah.
Once a week and all that crap,
But this weekend I've been having that brown.
The diesel looking.
Even this morning, as I had my ice cube maker.
Yeah.
And I just turned it on just before I came to you to do this podcast.
Yeah.
I turned it on, put the ice cube on the tap, and
it was all gone.
No. Let me just use the hot water.
You could
usually just that's just ice. So you just put in the water from the tap, and I saw it look like a brown.
Can't even use
it's not as bad
anymore.
as it's been the last 48 hours, but it was still a little sliver of brownness in it. So we still have a problem with the cleanliness of the water. I don't know how they expect you to feed, cook your food or to drink
wash
that
your
water,
whites. You can't even wash whites.
Wash your children and clean their clothes.
Like
I mean, they're so young. I have two young boys. I mean, I'm
have to be
concerned
so
with them
careful.
having some bad rash. Some breakout because of this unclean water.
That's coming through the tap.
You remember that was bad. What you just mentioned.
Yeah.
About the promise.
Yeah.
Of water, because it's a necessity for life.
Yeah.
But I would say of equal bad status is what they have done to the youth. Because do you remember the Land for Youth program?
Yes,
It
Land
was
for
supposed to
Youth.
be reconstituted,
Yes, yeah.
and they're going to remove the price of land or reduce it to 50%. Where it was $4, it was supposed to be $2.50 or
Just
something
hit
like
a
that. They
square
kept saying
foot
in
or
their
something.
manifesto. In addition to that, is that you're going to be able to own a piece of the rock, and they're going to set it up so that the banks are going to give the young people a chance to take out loans. And it was just absolute
Haven't
nonsense.
even spoken of again.
They never even mentioned
They
it.
never even spoken of.
They
That's
never
it.
even mentioned it.
They just locked it off after the election. Good. We won. That's it. We don't have to talk about
But
it till next
well,
election.
what is even worse, that they have nothing to say. What are the young people that went out to vote for them on
That's
the
right.
21st of March?
Yeah.
What are they saying? What are the parents of the young people who can't get land? Because I remember when we went to campaign the first time
Yes.
a year before
On
this
Tyndall
election was
Road.
called. If the
Yes.
election was called this year, last year,
Yeah, the year
one of the
before that.
first few campaigns on Tyndall Road.
Tyndall Road,
One of the
that's right.
diehard supporters, a Dominican lady, she was listening to skeptical as usual, I think she and her husband told me even if they put a dog to run, they're going to run.
Yeah, that's
if
right.
the Labour Party put a dog to run,
That's
that
what they're
they
going to
will
vote
for the
for.
dog over me.
Yeah.
Somebody who is educated in government and policy.
Yeah.
They said they were rather the dog.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
says more about their mentality
Yeah.
than about me
Yeah,
as
it's
somebody
been-
that could represent you.
But it's been played upon by the politician. The
But what
politician
has
playing their
happened? That
mentality.
lady told me she wanted a piece of land.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes, I
We want
remember.
a piece of land. And remember what I told her?
Yeah,
well,
right.
there's no more
The
land.
They're
to
gone. They're all gone.
have. It's all gone. If you're going to ask me what am I going to do in regards to getting a piece of land, I don't know if I can get that. You kept voting for anybody in the seat, and it would even go down to a dog.
Yeah.
So nobody was looking about your interests.
Nobody.
Representing your interests.
That's right.
Your children's interest in getting a
Not
piece of
at
land
all.
in Antigua and
Not at
Barbuda.
all. No, that wasn't
You know,
about the
she would
people.
rather vote for a dog
Yeah.
than somebody who is fighting for her to get a parcel of land for herself, her family,
Yeah, I'm
her
saying,
children.
It doesn't make
You
sense at
understand?
all. Yeah.
Because she is safer
with
with labor.
labor. That's
You
the
understand?
saying. That's
That
right.
is the mentality that we are trying to fight from this podcast about the way that we talk and we carry ourselves.
That's
It
right.
is a mentality of doom.
Mm-hmm.
And not only you dooming yourself, if you're saying that sort of mentality you are going to adopt as a grown man and woman, well, it's fine if you're the only one suffering.
Yeah, but the
But when you
generations
have
behind
other
you.
people,
Yeah.
other generations that want better
Come
in
in,
life,
that's right,
and the
come in.
best you can say for your children don't have land, you don't have any land, but you're saying you'd vote for a dog when they promise land for youth,
That's right. They promised
and you
made
haven't
promises.
heard a word about that,
Not
and you
a
don't hold
word.
them accountable, but you're saying you'd vote for a dog because it's Labour Party.
This is
That is the mentality that we
it's
need to fight.
senseless. It's just so senseless. Really. It makes no sense to me. I just don't understand what's going on in the minds of Antigua people. But that mindset is just way off base, and it needs to be changed. They need to take a look at how they got these things, and act differently, because it's not helping us. It's not helping them. It's not helping their kids and their grandkids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As I say, future generations are going to suffer because of their actions at this particular
Or
time.
inactions.
Yeah, or
Not even the
inactions.
actions. They're just not doing anything. They're not even bothering to think.
No, not even
They're
the
not
thinking
even bothering to
process.
think
Not
about
even the thinking
where
process.
you're going with a party
That's
that
right.
promise you and
That's
your
right.
family and your children and their grandchildren land.
Yeah.
But poor people can't get any land. So you have no way to improve your status,
Not
build a nicer
a
house,
bit.
have a
Nothing.
house where you can actually use that as collateral to get
That's
the road
right.
to
Call
educate
your
your
own.
future
Not
generations.
at all. No,
Nothing.
none of that. None of that. So
Yeah, that is where
that's
we see
strange.
it.
Uh-huh.
That is about where in the constituency. I believe we need to go on to our next topic,
Yeah.
The whole issue of development in
Development.
Antigua and
Yeah.
Barbuda,
A lack of
and the way we're going
development.
to go in the future, and presently how we're going to develop this country. It is amazing that this government went from winning the election in 2014 and it was what? It was 14.3,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about land for youth. We talked about the water situation, which they have not solved. They have not provided any land for youth. But on the 21st of March 2018, the people were confident and went out and voted for more of what they were getting.
Yeah.
I remember the UPP
So
in
strange.
2014. They went from, what was it?
I think
4
yeah.
4 to 13, 13 to 4,
13 to 4, I think.
right? And then in 2000 and what was it? 2009.
Yeah.
2009. The next election, he went 10 to 7.
Right.
So the UPP lost votes on the lies and inability to
That's
govern.
right.
This government has
Gained.
picked up an extra seat in parliament from 14.3 to 15.2. But you're getting nothing
Still getting
in
nothing.
regards to land for youth. You're getting nothing in regards to the water situation, and in regards to the policy that I wanted to mention about, that there's no development plan for Antigua and Barbuda.
None. Absolutely
And what we
none.
see is that, remember when they said they bought the majority shares in West Indies Oil about 2.5 years ago? What we were told was that in order to pay for the shares, they gave a certain Chinese man a whole pile of passports to act as money. Yeah, money or money's worth. So he got the money, they got the shares, and I think it was something between the Chinese man and Venezuela buying into the West Indies oil, but Antigua and Barbuda government, or we are the largest shareholder. And what we heard was the policy that the Prime Minister started to tout, was that they were going to make Antigua like a big gas station
Yeah.
for all the cruise ships coming into the port. In that they were not only going to be dropping off their passengers to visit the island for a couple of hours and so on and spend in our economy, but at the same time, these cruise ships could refill themselves and fill up on gas and go wherever they want to from there. And that was going to bring in revenues for Antigua and Barbuda. I was skeptical about it for the simple reason that these cruise ships, the companies, the business, they already had their suppliers of fuel, not 4, 5, 10, 15 years ago. Since they got into business, they already had their contracts, so who was going to be their suppliers?
That's right.
I find it very hard that Antigua thought, or the Prime Minister thought, that he was going to get into this market automatically.
Yeah.
He had no percentage of the market. Antigua, if it had gone through, was just going to start a new industry of
That's
refueling
right.
ships. So how are you going to break into this market? These are American companies for the most part. They have their American suppliers.
That's right.
So I was always skeptical. So what is the incentive? Why would they give an island in the Eastern Caribbean these lucrative contracts over companies
They're supplying
in
them
the United
already.
States,
That's right.
where the President of America is saying America first, and he wants to make America great again.
That's right.
So I was very skeptical, and this was before Donald Trump came in, right? But then I was skeptical. I know American does business. I mean, if you think they fight well on the battlefield or war, when it comes to business and cutthroat policies, they're even worse.
They're not playing, bro. They don't even play.
They're even worse when it comes to business.
Oh, you mean,
because
they're
they're
serious.
capitalists.
Oh, yes.
You understand?
Serious,
So
absolutely.
I was skeptical where he was going with this new industry of refueling ships. And then when Donald Trump came in, I was even more skeptical from
telling
the
you.
words that he was saying before
that
and
just-
leading up to the election and after. He has been honest in the sense that he's making America first. So I don't know how Gaston Brown and company are going to break into the market of refueling large passenger liners. And then I'm thinking about it in New York. I had all that time when I lost my passport 4 months. And I was like, well, we have no development plan. And I wanted to say, wait, what's going on here? What's going on here? This man is saying that we're going to be refueling large passenger liners. Cruise ships. But we don't have the infrastructure leading from West Indies oil
In the first
where all the
place.
gas is.
It's
Right?
stored, Yeah.
And you're talking to somebody that used to live at Friesel. And I know that area.
200
And they
yards
have
away.
one pipe, a slender pipe, going all the way from probably Runaway, all the way up through Yorks, that goes to these large holding tanks
Okay.
at West Indies Oil. And I believe that is where they brought in the oil and so on.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you go down Runaway, you will see right there, you will see all the damage, because the oil leaks and so on. You see the brown stuff. If you go what they call jailman grounds behind West Indies Oil,
Right.
just to what you call the eastern side of Yorks, on the other side of the road, which is Ford Road, but they call it jailman grounds because some of
They used
the
to
prisoners, the
cultivate,
jail,
yeah.
some of the jailmen and so used to go ground provisions over there.
Okay,
Used to give them time.
cultivate.
Used to have a little farm there. All day, if you look at the water, is all brown because it's all the overflow from the oil or whatever byproducts of gasoline or fuel or whatever petrocarbons. I don't know. I'm not an expert what the right word is, but you can see that soil has been damaged. It may be even one of the reasons why they don't have a jailman ground over there anymore. So, to make a long story short, I am wondering what development plan went in to saying that you're going to be refueling these cruise ships, because you haven't told us the disruption that you're going to do to people's houses.
That's right.
In
that,
Fort
to
Road,
let that happen.
Yorks, Villa, Point, and to some extent the western part of St. John City, because you're going to have to be running the pipes
Of course.
from these large holding tanks
That's right.
at
Going
West Indies Oil
to the deep water.
Deepwater Harbor,
That's right.
which is in St. John's.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go through some part of Villa, some part of Fort Road, some part of Point to get down there.
That's right.
And those are residential areas. People live there. They have houses that are made out of wood that are highly flammable.
Woodhouse, that's right.
You are saying you're going to be running pipes of highly flammable material down to the Deepwater Harbor to refuel large yachts, large cruise ships, or whatever else needed. Maybe it's not even cruise ship, maybe it's even destroyers, maybe it's even, what do you call them again? The large, the one with the planes coming off, aircraft carriers. I don't know what to say. Large mega yachts, billion-dollar yachts and so on. This man is going to refuel them. But to get that fuel, you're going to be running highly
must run the
flammable
pipes.
material underneath
You must
a
run your
residential
pipes.
area.
That's right. Pipes has to be run.
Isn't this a recipe for disaster, Nedwell? I mean, maybe I'm just a fool. Maybe I'm in opposition, so I'm blinded
It's so
by
dangerous.
this man's brilliance,
Yeah, you
and I can't really comprehend his genius.
but you
But you
see-
tell me, Nedwell. You tell me if I'm just talking foolishness.
Not at all. You see it all the time in these big countries that have pipes running. They catch fire.
They catch fire. That is why that came out, because I can't remember what it was. But I
But one
saw
of
it on
them.
TV that
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff was happening,
All
that
the
the
time.
places caught fire.
Yeah, all the time.
And
You
it's because
understand?
they were running all these petrol underneath the house and so
That's
on.
right. You know, and this is things that's happening. So you're not speaking off the top of your head here. This is something that is highly, highly possible. And it's a dangerous situation to be running these pipes in the residential areas. This is really sickening how these guys come up. It's like their lack of thought that goes into these plans. You understand? You know, right now we have to wonder who we have in Parliament, or who we decide and voted in Parliament, because the guys look like they're not even looking out for the people. There's so many different things that's happening in Antigua that the people are not being really looked out for. And this is one of them. This is definitely one of them. This is a highly dangerous situation. And as you pointed out, there's so many wooden houses. You know, if it was wall houses alone, you know, I'd say, well,
I wouldn't
maybe.
even say so. Those houses
Yeah,
would burn. That the heat that's coming from those damn,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but
fuel and gas and so on.
How
That
you
was just
mean?
toasted.
How
But
you
you know,
mean?
the situation with the wood is that you will catch fire so fast is
Ca-
that you
at a snap.
probably can't even respond.
moment notice.
The cement and so take a little longer.
Longer,
You
you know,
chance-
it's
you have
up
a
and
better
all
chance
that.
of getting out there.
How
grab a
you
few
mean and
things,
all
grab a
that.
picnic and so on and run.
But you have
with-
wooden homes that just
timber?
pop and just go up in
Bam,
flames.
that's like a lighting a match.
You know, so the situation is dangerous. Where it's a good thought. You're thinking positively in terms of what you, but where I'm wondering again who these guys are. They don't put any thought into the things that they
There is
tell
no
the people.
development plan for this country.
Not one bit.
I've heard lots of things mentioned. Not only this West Indies oil Antigua serving as a port to refuel large ships, but I also heard about Yida and
the
the
Yida
investment that Yida was supposed to bring. It's gone very quiet. I guess the country as a whole is of the opinion now that Yida isn't happening. We heard about the CIP. We're selling our passports with the sort of blows that has been getting. That is not bringing in the sort of revenues to keep this economy
Decrease the cost
afloat.
of the passport.
I believe that the Prime Minister also took off the taxes, the income tax, because he thought these investors would have already picked up the slack. But it has not happened. But the people that are bearing the brunt of his failures are his supporters.
That's right.
And you wonder at some point
The
in
poorer
time
class.
when will they have enough of this non-performance, this inability to lay down a plan, lay down a policy, and carry it through to the very end, and let us see the benefits. Because I do not see any large money coming in, and I know he can't go on corner and get into that market with a man like the name of Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't have what? 300 billion in his trade war against China.
That's right.
Already has slapped more sanctions on China.
That's right.
You imagine Antigua say, okay, you done slap $3 billion as sanctions on China, and they done slap back another $3 billion on America. And then you can say, I am Gaston Brown, the world boss, and I want to refuel American cruise ships in my port in Deepwater Harbor, St. John's. And where I had 0% of the refueling market, I want to take those contracts away from the American companies that refuel these large ships. You know who I am? I'm Gaston Brown. I'm the world boss.
He would not even be heard there. They would even listen. They would even take this man serious one day. Where the heck he's coming from with that stuff? Because don't you see what's going on? That's all I'm going to say. Wait, don't
I
you
am
see what's
Gaston
happening?
Brown, the world boss.
I'm saying that I need
refueling large boats is the game.
That's right.
And refueling them in Antigua.
I need a hefty cut of that market. And
yes,
as the world boss,
I'm the
just-
world boss.
just
So,
the way out to it.
like out of the 10 Commandments to Charlton Heston. So let it be written. So let it be done. Antigua really let a bunch of coons, boy.
Yeah, man.
Antiguan people, you all are a real
They've been
class.
hard. They've been hard.
And a different class mentality.
Yeah, the mindset.
This man was going to
mindset.
burn you out, even if that policy was he had a few
Implement.
contracts to say,
Yeah.
okay, it's worth to actually go and dig all that digging up on the people's house. Then, well, you have to realize too now, when they build these pipes and so on, they're going to have to reclaim people's land too,
Yeah, that too.
Some of
That
these
too.
houses are going
Have
to be taken down
get
and
out of
moved
there.
away.
Yeah, get away from there. That's right.
That is the
Acquisition.
reality. It's going to be running on the people's house
That's
unless
right.
you say he going to go down the main road. I don't know how it will be done, but the sort of money just to get that infrastructure up and running.
That's right.
Just
Yeah.
pie in the sky.
Yeah.
Pie in the sky.
There's a lot of that goes around there. Not only that, but so many other different promises. You talk about the Yida. Look at the Yida stuff that just fall apart. so quiet now. Then we come down to some gun factory that they said they were going
Oh,
to set up.
yeah, that's one of the last things you heard. They're going to
Yeah,
be making
the-
guns
the-
over there
you know,
on Guiana Island.
You wonder what the heck goes on with these people.
You know, one of the things I also would like to mention, and maybe this isn't even the right time, we need to do an episode in thorough on our diplomatic ambassadors. Those who have been given instruments to represent us abroad or with other countries.
Yeah.
We need to do of who they are and what have they brought back
That's so true. From
as an ambassador
Yeah,
to
from their
benefit
tenure.
us.
That's so true.
Because I am a child that was born in the 1970s and late 1970s, early 80s before we left Antigua and Barbuda. I remember up at Carnival Bowl we used to have Hawaiian dancers and so shaking around themselves with
That's
the
right.
hullas and the little
Yeah, delicate thing there.
dress and so on.
Yes.
And it was so beautiful.
Of
We
course.
had that exchange.
Yeah.
I remember they also brought in African dancers also. They had on the girls and them danced topless.
Yep.
And it was beautiful. They were beautiful women. But even so, it was a cultural exchange.
That's right.
I don't see that happening
No.
for ambassadors. We have
Dying.
Ambassador Hesse. You're not caught up with the stupid Yida nonsense over there to them. Last time I saw Hesse
What a thing.
was over on Barnacle Point there with the Yida, all the billions we're supposed to be getting
Wow.
every year. He was appointed ambassador to the African Union. What do we get from our ambassador to the African
Nothing.
Union? Besides him
Nothing.
getting an instrument and going over there and representing
That's
himself.
right,
I
yeah.
guess his father is from Ghana, so that gives him a shoe in to
shoe-in,
become
that's right.
the African ambassador to the Andean
Okay.
ambassador to the African
Should.
Union. But what do we have? We don't even have a cultural exchange with these people.
Nothing.
Nobody coming
Nothing,
with a
nothing.
food
There's
fair.
no
Nobody
exchange.
coming with a clothes fair. Nobody coming with some cultural exchange, some dances, some music highlight, whatever South Africa. I mean, nobody. I haven't heard of it. Where's the exchange?
There's
And
none
that's
of
just
it
it. The
there.
bare minimum is supposed to have some sort of cultural exchange
Some
where
sort.
people say this
That's
is
right.
from
Okay,
Ghana
you're right.
and we like to show you how our dance and our music and our
That's
folklore.
right, and how
Since
we-
we are so connected to them.
Yeah.
Burr Nancy comes from Ghana. We are, for the most part, of an Ashanti culture from what we realize in the slaves that came out of slavery.
Yeah.
That is where we are the only people in the Caribbean that on a day-to-day basis as a pastime we play worry, which is a Ghanaian game.
Yeah, that's right. Uh-huh.
You understand?
Yeah.
What do we get since we have an ambassador to the African Union? Nothing.
Not a thing.
We
really,
have an
not a
ambassador,
thing.
Gail Christian. She was kicking up the other day about Gaston and she was the chairman. She was the only one on Lester Bird's slate that actually won her seat in the 2012 convention. With all the rigging and thieving that went down at the multipurpose center, she was the chairman. She's kicking up. She didn't like Gaston and blah, 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 with the blue, and so on and all this nonsense.
Let me tell you.
Gail right back with them. She in the bosom of Jehovah.
You better believe that. This is,
But my question bringing Gail Christian name out. Gail, they gave you a position to become the ambassador
Mexico?
to Mexico.
yes, I remember that.
Gail, what do we have? What can you show us you have done as the ambassador to Mexico? Are they doing any free Spanish classes in Antigua and Barbuda? Gail, you didn't even get a mariachi band to come to Antigua. Not even a mariachi band come down here so I can
Nothing.
hear them and check up
Nothing,
two
and say,
maybe they can
"Whoa."
even get them with Burning Flames and I had like a
You know what I'm saying?
mixture of the
Together.
cultures.
That's right.
The Caribbean, the
The
North
Central
American,
America.
Latin American culture.
Yeah,
Nothing.
that's right.
And that is what I'm saying. Where is the development plan? It is not only about economics. It's
Yeah.
about society.
That's right.
And
Socializing.
improving the horizon of
That's
your
right.
people.
That's
That
right.
even though people may be poor, I may not be able to go to Mexico. I may not be able to reach back to Africa.
That's right.
At
It
least
comes
they say,
right here.
I know that when I see it on
Yes,
TV,
that's
I
right.
know what
That's
a
right.
highlight is the music from Western
That's
Africa.
right.
I know what this sort of dance is. I
Supposed to.
recognize that accent and that language. That
That's
is,
right.
they
Supposed to
came
be
down
able to.
here.
That's right.
And they introduced themselves and they performed it so that it enhances the knowledge of your
Of the people. That's right. And that's not happening
Gail,
here.
I am holding you responsible for providing a mariachi band to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. You were the ambassador to Mexico, and you need to bring that mariachi band. The True Labour Party is demanding a mariachi band come to Antigua and Barbuda. What you say, Nedwell?
Absolutely. The mixture of culture there. And this is it's a learning process as well there.
Yeah.
We learn from each other. And we need that interaction, and and when I see that all these ambassadors just go out there and they bring back nothing, we benefit nothing, from them being the ambassador and these countries and so forth don't even, as far as I'm concerned, hardly any of them do even visit Antigua. They're just there, and the ambassadors go down and they come back and they say a few words of something, and that's about that. But the cultural exchange that we do need to make it meaningful is not there yet. None of that. And it's a horrible situation, because it's like we are going back into time, because I remember, going too fast, and I don't even know, because back then, these are the things that used to happen.
It happened. I am telling you, I was born in 71.
These are the things that
before
used to happen.
I left Antigua and Barbuda, which was September, October 1983. Even with the distance, it's harder to travel.
That's
you
right.
don't have Facebook.
And none of that stuff.
Machine, you didn't have WhatsApp. We still had a connection.
Of course.
Because I saw hula dancers from Hawaii perform at the Carnival Bowl.
Yeah.
I saw, I think they're from Nigeria or Ghana, dancers that came in and performed at the Carnival Bowl.
Absolute.
And now that we say the world is so much closer because of social media,
That's right.
and we're able to
Just a click of a
get
finger
close
away.
to these people. How come Ambassador Hesse, Gail,
None of them.
can't
None
reach
of
out?
them.
She could even stay in Antigua and say, order up a mariachi band.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
1-800 mariachi
This
band.
is the ambassador. I'm not telling you.
Give them $2,000 US dollars.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Pay for the plane ride. Put them up Joe Mike's.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
For a weekend.
make it cheaper. Oh, you
And
mean?
say, hey,
Hey, man.
I actually did something in the job.
Nothing tall, man. Nothing. Nothing.
Hey, she didn't even
No.
bring back no guacamole.
Nothing. Yeah.
You know,
Nothing
I'm
to
asking
say.
y'all- You know, I'm asking for a burrito.
Taco. Not even taco.
Hell, you could have gone to America.
Oh, you mean?
Gone to Taco Bell.
Well, you mean?
Order up about 50 tacos.
Tacos that say, this is from the
Freeze
place
them.
itself.
Put them in a freeze lock bags, you know. Bring them down in your suitcase. And then go to some high school, some public school, you go PMS
Oh,
or
you
so
mean?
on,
Say
or
this
Girls
is
High,
Mexican stuff.
and say, this is a cultural exchange.
Yes,
Here's some tacos.
Yes,
This comes straight from Mexico. And I am the ambassador to Mexico.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's not a nice thing, to be honest with you. It shows that the representation that the people are getting is very poor. It shows that they don't really care about the way how their job is supposed to be done. They're not functioning the way that they're supposed to function. And, it's all at the expense of the people.
Wait, you're forgetting one thing, Nedwell.
Yeah.
It also shows that our ambassadors are a bunch of frauds.
That's so true.
That I think you should have
That's
listed that
so true,
first.
guys.
And list everything else.
That is so true, man.
Yeah, we have an ambassador to Cuba also.
Oops.
Have you heard?
Yeah.
Anything happening?
Not that thing.
All right. then.
Everything just went dead,
Everything gone quiet.
It's just real quiet there. And, as I said, they need to take their job serious there. And they need to do something for this country. And they're not doing that at all. It's like, hey, I'm getting a paycheck, and that's where it stops. And it's not beneficial to us. It's just, as you say, it's fraudulent.
The paycheck is to keep them happy. They
Yeah,
just
that's
want
all
to-
it is.
And Gas don't really know how to give them. You really know how to feed his dogs.
Absolutely.
You just give them enough to keep them
To make them
from
keep them
venting too
smiling.
much or just,
Yeah,
they're
keep them
grumpy,
smiling.
they're not happy, but I mean,
Yeah,
you
you
have a
smile
dog
with it.
and so on, he needs food.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
wag his
Pavlov
tail.
dogs.
He
The
wag his
guy
tail.
Pavlov from Russia did the experiment where he had his dogs
Ah.
and he will ring a bell every time he fed them, right?
Yeah.
And he realized that every time he rang the bell, he could get his dogs to salivate, even if he didn't feed them. But by the time he rang the bell, because they were programmed to be fed.
At that time.
Just ringing the bell, the dogs will have all this drool running down the side of the lips. That's why I compare our ambassadors to. Right? Gaston really knows when to feed them.
Absolutely.
He feed them with the ambassador, right? So anytime he needs anything from them now, all he has to do is ring the bell. We don't even give them anything else.
That's the thing. Just ring
they
the
just
bell.
start to salivate. So the ambassadors in Antigua and Barbuda are more like Pavlov dogs. Dr. Pavlov from Russia.
So
that's
sad.
what I see them in my mind.
Very sad. Yeah. It's
the reality. I'm like, but look at these people. You're an ambassador and not one of them have a cultural exchange.
Nothing.
You hear
investment,
nothing.
no
Our
nothing.
relationships with Mexico has been improved because you agree. You remember in the beginning, he said that Mexico was supposed to provide the loan to build the 500 houses in the 500 days. Gail, you're an ambassador. You're supposed to be the one up and scratch with this and inform the public.
If it was
going through some hard times now too, no.
If it was
a lot of
supposed
them,
to be,
they can't jump over the fence.
You know what I'm saying? For real, no.
Jump on the case.
So
if you say, okay, if you say you can't get the $40 million, you go and skillful negotiate. You're a qualified lawyer. Negotiate something. Negotiate it down to 20, maybe even a quarter of that, where you want, and say this is what you're able to do. Try to say. The thing is, it's not that you're successful, you know. That is the main concern. It's the lack of effort that we're having, and we're seeing what you're doing for us. Mr. Hesse goes over to the African Union and show his tribe over there in Ghana. He have a house over there. He name up all the good food, all the fufu, and all of whatever else, and them over there.
Oh, right.
Buddy boy. Just go in your house, tell your tribe in Ghana, the Ashanti, or the Mandingo, or the Koromani, or whatever the hell they have over there. Tell a couple of them, the exchange rate even to the EC is pretty damn good. Ambassador Hesse, just get half the tribe to go make some fufu, no?
Let's go.
You put the fufu in them freeze the lock bag, right? Put them in your briefcase or your suitcase and say destination Antigua and Barbuda.
You know what I'm saying?
Go to some public forum, public school, PMS, Antigua Girls High, Antigua Grammar School, even the primary schools. And give them a little fufu, give them a little say, even make it up, make up the story around it and have a little something. Say, I'm an ambassador. I like to give you a sample of what probably our ancestors ate.
That's right.
And this is coming from the Ashanti tribe or the Coromantee tribe or the Mandingo. And say, it's your culture experience. And the kids who don't have that sort of knowledge, they're coming from a poor household. Their parents are partly well educated.
That's right.
And you're saying you're trying to broaden their horizons.
Right.
You can't
he would
everything up to the teacher.
That's right.
He would have. May be good in English and maths, but it's all broadening the minds, open up their minds to there are other people on the other side of the Atlantic, and we are cousins.
That's right.
Open up their minds.
That's right.
But I mean, it seems to me like in Antigua, it's just about ringing that bell and getting these ambassadors to salivate that they're going to get something more. They got the position, and now they're salivating for something else.
That's it. Then they care about nothing else. You know
Ned, do you want to say anything on that point, or we can move on to our next matter?
That's true. The lack of performance is really startling. And then, as you said, they need to start take a serious look at what their positions require of them and do something that will help the country somewhat. They're not helping the country at all there. As I said, it seems as if it's just a paycheck that they're after, and then that's about it, And Gail is a typical example, because then when you said that, they told us that they were going to get that money from Mexico to facilitate the building of the homes, and that just fell through. It shed a dark light on her as our ambassador. She didn't come back and tell us nothing. This is why this didn't happen. So to me, it's all about the paycheck.
Neddy, I am so disappointed in Gail, right?
Yeah.
At this point in time, I'm going to even reduce the level. Forget the mariachi band. Gail, scratch the mariachi band. I don't even want to put you to any expense. Bare minimum I'm expecting from Gail, Christian ambassador to Mexico. She gonna have to get your own guitar and even just strum 1 or 2 chords. I'm even lowering the standard. Strum 2 chords of La Cucaracha. At least I can say you did something, Gail, in the position. You go and get a guitar. Oh, shit. Forget it. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little excited now. You know, Gail, I have a guitar. I'm going to make it even more affordable for you. Gail, Christian, I have a guitar. You practice up on the guitar La Cucaracha, and we go to a public school together. I will play the piano.
You know what I'm saying?
You can,
I see just strum that stuff.
you can come strum La Cucaracha, saying this is a song coming from our the Mexican brothers and sisters in Latin America, and that you're an ambassador to this country, and you want to have a cultural exchange. So you learn a few bars of this song.
That's
this very intricate, complicated piece of music.
Giving you a
and
taste
that
of their
you're
culture.
Giving us a taste of their culture. Because I don't know what to do. Forget the mariachi band. I'm not even going there. I know it never happens. These people have no clue of what an ambassador does or how it functions.
Honestly.
They're just taking positions, but they have no interest to fulfill the roles, obligations, and the duty.
Nope, not one bit of it.
So anytime, Gail, give me a call. I'll lend you my guitar when you want the electric.
Organize
I have the
something.
electric down here, but in New York I have a classical and I have an ordinary 6-string folk guitar. You tell me which one you want to borrow. Right?
Hey,
I made it very simple. La Cucaracha is only 3 chords. You should have no complications there with the masterpiece that you're about to perform.
It's horrible. Oh, yes.
Okay, let's leave Gail and Hesse and Peter
those.
Benjamin. Oh, yeah, Peter Benjamin is the ambassador to Cuba. The last time I saw Peter, he was actually in the Lone Wolf protesters. He was protesting with me on Newgate Street. He and I gone back to the fold.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter, shout out.
Yeah, man.
He actually shared the same birthday,
More power to
27th
you.
of October.
Oh.
We're going to go on to our last issue because we are 46 minutes into this broadcast, so we got roughly another 10 minutes before we start to wind down. And the last 10 minutes, I'd like to talk about Ralph Gonsalves and the C.C.J.
Yeah.
What is Ralph Gonsalves commenting on our referendum on the 6th of November? That is us. Antiguans. I don't want to hear about the Prime Minister of St. Vincent. I want to hear from the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda and the government.
Our people.
Or how they're going to benefit us by, how are we going to benefit by voting for the
Implementing the
C.C.J.
C.C.J.
Now, do you start off with this one?
Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook and all that. You know, I did this Ralph Gonsalves saying that Antigua and Barbuda should vote for the C.C.J. because it's going to bring about employment and all sort of, things that he's been saying. And I'm saying, what Ralph has to do in Antigua affairs? We need to hear from our people. We need to hear from our government. What is the benefit to our people from implementing the C.C.J.? That's all we need to know, and then we can make a sober decision on what we are going to do on that day of voting. But we're not hearing a thing from them there. They're not saying one word. They went out there from start and they were talking about the time for black people control their own affairs and time for this and time for that. And I'm saying they are so late with this thing because black people has been controlling their own affairs for a long time in other places. Look at Obama, President Obama. He became the president of the United States. He didn't only control black people affairs. He controlled the world affairs of America, white people and black together. This is something. So I find that we are moving backwards when we are talking in that, in that particular way. But then, they went back on and they're saying that the Privy Council don't want us and all these sort of things. And then I've learned later on that the Privy Council refuted that. You know what Gaston has said, that they verbally said that they don't want on a part of us, they don't want to do the case. All these things are just... But, I wonder why they are so vigorously pursuing this C.C.J. There got to be some benefits, because a leopard doesn't change the spot overnight. And these guys don't do nothing unless it's going to benefit them somewhere along the road. And I'm wondering what that benefit is at this particular time. But it's left to be seen. But all I'm saying here, this Ralph Gonsalves getting into the affairs of Antigua, he should stick with St. Vincent's and the Grenadines, and then, let them know, well, if it's that what he, and then, those are the people he need to be talking to. Not be talking, and saying, another thing I have read, it has nothing to do with Gaston Brown and all that. And saying, who said that? So it must be his conscience was talking. I have no idea what he was, driving at and all that. But he should not be, particular going on the way how we vote. He should not be able to influence us as the way we're not benefiting nothing from Ralph Gonsalves for he to come and try to influence the way that how we go into the voting booth and what we do when we go into the voting booth. Ladies and gentlemen, they're talking about so many different things of, we need to break ties and all these stuff. We need to break ties. We have inherited so many good things from our colonial past, and all we need to do is to build on it. And if we build on these things and be proud of what we inherited and be proud of our accomplishments and achievements, it will serve our purpose well. I said, earlier in a probably earlier broadcast that I haven't seen that the Privy Council had done anything so outrageous. They came down with some decision that was so outrageously wrong that you decide, hey, this is time. Let's get the heck out of here. We are making a big deal out of nothing, to be honest with you. The Privy Council have been there for the longest of while. They've been serving our purpose well with the neutrality. You see, this neutral. They've been neutral in all the cases that they've been that goes out to them, and it has nothing to do with the blackness and whiteness and none of that stuff. They look at the case, they look at the law, they know what the law is, and the good part about it, when the Privy Council make their decision, it become a precedent. That precedent of another case similar like this, you can always go back and say, this is it. And the Privy Council, this is what the Privy Council did. And and 9 out of 10 times that case will go down same how. So I really don't understand what this government is after. I don't know. As I said, it's left to be seen. I just do hope, though, that the people understand and realizes that, these guys play hardball. They don't do nothing unless it benefits them. And case in point, I'll just give you a little quick one right out of the subject. Right now, I understand that you can't even take water into our jail right now. Because what? They're selling water up there. And then when you look at the brand of water that they're selling, you see the politicians has now taken this to another level. It's a business that they're running inside of our jailhouse. This is, it's really out of hand. So there's nothing that they're doing that is not going to be a benefit to them. How can this be different? It's not any different, my friend. Yeah. It's something that they're pursuing, and it's something that they vigorously, why they want the C.C.J. to go through. And another example I would like to point out to you. Over the years, we did GC exam. The GC, I know many of you can remember that. Now it's the CXC. And look at the level. Look at. It's nothing like what the GC was. Our education process has been downgraded. Lots of kids at the age of 18 and 19 can't even spell properly. These are the things that's going on in our education system at this particular time.
Wow.
Breaking tie, and this is for real. Sometime I used to be on Variety Radio with another guy there, and he throw this in my face all the time. He was down by Frankie shop, and a bunch of them came in from this secondary school up there, and they were running them out. And he said, spells, and they can't even spell it. Me say, look at this stuff. You know, and these are the things that's going on. Educational system has deteriorated since that GC has been transferred into the CXC and all that stuff. It's like we are planning to just mash up the whole process for black people in all these parts of the world. So I can't see why Ralph Gonsalves is going to come and tell us that we should vote for the C.C.J. It's not about Gaston Bone. Nobody's saying it's about Gaston Bone. It's not about Gaston Bone. All we are saying here that we don't even see what benefit it's going to bring to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Why it's being pursued in that particular way. He talking about employment. I don't know who's going to employ who, because the C.C.J. is implemented, but that's how he sees it. But it's not for Antigua for him to be telling the people of Antigua to do this and to do that there. And I just do hope that Antigua people recognize what we are saying here today. I know they say once bitten, twice shy. You see what happened 2014 election. You were supposed to get water in abundance in 14 days.
Yeah.
You know how many 14 days has passed? Last week, the pipe went on one time for the week.
What was the quality of the water?
The quality of the water was really despicable. Brown.
Yeah.
You know, it's a diesel type color, not even kerosene. Yeah. Diesel type color. You know, and it's awful. And when you're telling me that you're going to fall for the same ignorance time and time again. It's hurting. Yes, it's really hurting. It's out of
you rather vote for Dog to look about your future.
I'm telling you, man, the future of your
grandchildren.
You know, your grandchildren down the line.
My Lord, God save us.
Yeah, you know, absolute. That's the only savior at this particular time, I'm telling you here, because the people mentality, the people mindset is being played upon by these politicians. Right now, they're expert at it. They know how to get through to these people because they know what the people want.
Pavlov dogs.
That's right.
They know how to
you love woman
when they need you on the 21st of March and your mouth start to salivate.
That's right.
But they're getting very little to show for all your campaigning and you're going out to be loyal to your party.
Very little.
Nedwell, I wanted to say one thing here before we close off.
Yeah.
Because we're almost coming to that time.
Wow.
And this is a question. And let me know what you think. Which came first? Our prison, which we call 1735, or the Privy Council having judication of our matters? Appellate judication of our matters in Antigua and Barbuda. Which one came first?
I believe it's 1735.
1735?
Yeah.
That was a year before the Prince Claus rebelled
That's right.
in 1736.
That's right. You know what I'm saying?
That prison was around when Prince Claus was a living man.
Can you imagine?
Right?
Yeah.
The Privy Council. The present constitution of the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council is based on the Judicial Committee Act 1833.
1833.
Nearly 100 years later.
Yeah.
They had the Privy Council from Norman times, but it was not governing our affairs.
That's right.
Until 1833.
Right. Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying, if you want to get rid of the vestiges of our colonial past, wouldn't you get to a prison that is antiquated, it is overcrowded, it is unhygienic, it is breaching our constitution in inhuman and degrading treatment.
Very much
so. Let me say, and they say the Privy Council is so bad because we want black people for rule. I find a appellate court. I don't want no white man up in England. Right?
Some dude in England handling my plight.
If you're going to look on priorities, won't you get rid of a penal system, a prison that predates the Privy Council?
Yeah, that's right.
That is antiquated. Yeah. That is breaching the constitution, the laws of a land in the way that you hold citizens of this country, even non-citizens.
Right.
You are supposed to hold everybody to a certain standard of treatment and not degrading them and inhuman treatment.
That's so true.
You see people having the Mars virus or this bacteria which is eating away their skin.
Man,
we heard that they had chicken pox. Just earlier this year we heard that they had measles.
Yep.
And what I'm saying is that your priority as an Antiguan is to go and vote for Privy Council, vote against the Privy Council and vote for the C.C.J. A C.C.J. that will be concurring and maybe allowing people to go to those same
Yeah,
circumstances in jail?
of course.
Is that what you want?
Of course,
Every
that's what they
magistrate,
want.
every judge that sits on the Court of Appeal or the Privy Council or the C.C.J., if they rule in favor or against, and the result is that a person is held at 1735 from Coronation Road, our prison,
Ooh,
that is a breach of our Constitution.
that's right.
Which one comes first? Get a better prison so that when the Privy Council or the C.C.J. or the magistrate or the High Court rules that somebody has to be detained and their liberty is taken away from them, that they're held in a condition
Yeah,
that is
humane
in order
condition.
with our Constitution.
That's right.
That is my priority and my main reason to vote no for the C.C.J.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is my final word. We kind of running short on time, so
Yeah.
then I'll give you 2 minutes to close off.
Yes,
right?
Ray, you're absolutely correct, Ray. The priorities is what it is. And these guys' priorities are not set straight. All these guys, they go out there and they get their knighthood and all that, and they still want to maintain that. They're glad they're not relinquishing that, but they want to get rid of the Privy Council. And to me, they want to take the neutrality out of our judicial system. And then, because, we owe you one, and one owe the next one, and they know one another, and all them a big friend. And all these things that, they take place within our judiciary. And this is what that we can't afford to have at this particular time base. It's bad enough, knowing that the Privy Council is there that you can go to. But just imagine that you don't have them to go to. These guys are going to get carried away. I can imagine, it's the same ignorance that is going to be. And they're helping out one another and all that. So, where you're so absolutely correct, they need to They need to look at the priorities and deal with the priorities and in sequence. Do what even they were doing what they were doing in sequence. But again, I will say, I haven't seen the Privy Council have done anything so horrendous that you're getting so inflamed, so hyped up against them that you need to get them out of the way. They got to get out of the way. They're blocking something, whatever the case may be. But this is what it appears to be. And as I said, time will tell. I hope Antigua people will do what they're supposed to do. They've seen how they've been burnt many of times by just following the ignorance of these people and gullibly, believe them the things that they've been told, and some of them been paid off and all these nonsense. We need to stop that and do the things that we're supposed to do to get this country running right there.
So true, Nedwell. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for another episode of True Labor Talks. With the grace of God, we'll be back again next week with another episode, and we'll keep fighting the True Labor Party for a better Antigua and Barbuda.
Better Antigua. Absolutely.
Bye for now. Take
Bye.
A buzzard took a monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzard tried to throw the monkey off of his back, but the monkey grabbed his neck and said, "Now listen, Jack, straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in diving. What's the use of diving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." The buzzard told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." Bree, bree, doo, bree, bree, doo, da 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 da. told the monkey, you are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free. The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, your story's so touching it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.